YK Zamboanga, DXKO Cagayan de Oro, DXDX General Santos, DYKC Cebu, DZKI-IRIGA, DXKD Dipolo, DXKS Surigao, DXKP Pagadian, DXKT Davao, at DZRL Batak, RPN Provincial Stations.
Ang pinakaenot sa ringkunada. Puon kay do sa gudgunyan. Minaanduyog sa baga namamanwaan. Katuwang para sa kauswagan. Sa mga bareta, patas. Sa impormasyon, public service, enot ka. Malalaoman, katotohuan ang sinasarigan. Inina ang bagong Radyo Ronda. DZKI-IRIGA Radyo Ronda. Ang maugmang kairiba. Madya na. CNN Philippines Hour sa RPN-DZKI-IRIGA alas 6 hasta las 7 ng manggi, Lunes hanggang Biyernes. CNN Philippines Hour.
Down. Okay. If that is what the Filipino wants, go ahead.
Attorney Vic Rodriguez, the lawyer of Bongbong Marcos, told a radio interview that their camp does not feel they're being alluded to. Vice President Leni Robredo and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno also denied taking illegal drugs. Both of them, along with fellow aspirant Senators Bongo and Manny Pacquiao, favor undergoing drug tests.
When do you want? Publicly? Yeah, why not? Kasi if a president will fight against drugs, no, as a matter of policy, then dapat talaga na kami rin. No? Ako, I don't mind.
Another presidential hopeful, Caliodi de Guzman, dares President Duterte to have the cocaine-using aspirant arrested. He also says the president must know the aspirant supplier. Robredo also urges the government to file charges if there's evidence.
Kung merong ebidensya, kailangan ilabas. Hindi dapat ito dinadaan sa ganitong paraan. Yung sa akin, I am sure yung presidente merong access sa maraming information na lahat tayo walang access. So, siya yung makakasagot kung ano yung mga pruweba tungkol dito.
It's unclear for now whether the government is investigating the presidential aspirant and his group, but Malacanang assures it's being fair.
Pagdating kasi sa droga, medyo very technical, no, ang nasa batas, at kailangan sundin natin lahat ng mga proseso at procedures pagdating po sa in any investigation and even in enforcement, even in arrest and seizure, lahat po yan kailangan sundin natin para hindi rin po tayo ma-technical pagdating ng pagsampa ng kaso.
Malacanang says it's the president's discretion to end the guessing game and name the cocaine user. Trisha Terada, CNN Philippines.
The Commission on Elections reiterates substance abuse is not among the grounds for disqualifying an aspirant. A drug test for them is also not required under the law. Commission spokesperson James Jimenez explains the poll body in a resolution required candidates to submit a negative drug test several elections ago, but that was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court in 2008. Now, they're the so-called DDS or diehard Duterte supporters who have been fighting tooth and nail for President Duterte since 2016 until today. But now that there are two Dutertes joining the national race, the patriarch and the presidential daughter, where does that leave the DDS? Our senior correspondent David Santos spoke to some of them.
In this community in Mandaluyong City, it is not difficult to spot a supporter of President Duterte. They're among the 16 million who voted him to power in 2016. And while they have been loyalists for nearly 6 years, they are, however, eyeing a new leader to support come 2022, Bongbong Marcos.
Gusto ko maiba naman, mabago talaga.
Kahit sino naman ganin mo, kay Bongbong na talaga ngayon papanig eh.
Gawin niya nga katulad sa tatay niya, maoki ang Pilipinas.
Online, we spoke to another group of Duterte supporters. This time, they're sticking it out with the president, meaning they will back his endorsement of Senator Bongo.
Kasi siya lang talaga yung nakita naming senador na bumaba sa lahat ng nasunugan. So hindi ka plastikan yun.
If ever na may papasok na iba, panigurado mag-iiba yung setup, direksyon.
So ngayon lang po nagkagulo kasi nga po nandyan si Mayor Inday, nandyan si President Duterte. So kaya po nagkakagulo, meron pong undecided.
For days now, pro-Duterte chat groups and social media pages have been abuzz with exchanges on who will they support for president. Will it be Go, backed by the father, or Marcos, the daughter's running mate?
Wala po talagang awayan. Meron lang pong nakikipag-away doon sa social media pero hindi naman po namin pinapansin.
The bigger question is the Duterte powerhouse now a house divided? For political analyst Michael Yusinko, the Duterte supporters to begin with are not as solid as they seem to be.
It was made up of different factions, different groups, and therefore, with different agendas, with different interests, they are in that stage of what's happening, where will we go? So they're waiting for that clear direction.
This apparent division, Yusinko says, won't necessarily mean an advantage for other presidential candidates, but it somehow levels the playing field.
Karambola politics na tayo sa 2022, di ba? It's anybody's ball game.
But with still over 5 months before the elections, Duterte supporters say anything can still happen and that something might still be up on the Duterte sleeves. David Santos, CNN Philippines.
President Duterte thumbs down a possible coalition between his party and the Lakas CMD of his daughter, Mayor Sara Duterte. Mr. Duterte says it will not happen because that will mean his party will also be allied with Marcos. The president called Marcos a weak leader, a spoiled child, and an only son. Now, the COMELEC looking to regulate the use of social media during the 2022 campaign period. The platform is seen to be largely tapped to avoid COVID-19 super spread events in face-to-face gatherings. Starting February, the poll body will be lending its official social media pages for so-called e-rallies, where national candidates may air their events on a rotating basis. Now, those vying for the presidency and vice presidency may air content worth 10 minutes at a time, while senatorial bets and party list groups can secure slots worth 3 minutes long. The order of airing will be raffled off. Candidates and political parties must register with the COMELEC, their websites, and the links to all official social media accounts and blogs that they will be using for the campaign. Social media firms like Facebook are also asked to submit data about online ads paid for by the candidates, parties, or their donors. Candidates are still limited to the same rules on campaign spending. Presidential and vice presidential bets can spend 10 pesos per voter, or approximately 669 million pesos during the campaign season, based on COMELEC's estimated number of registered voters. The limit is at 3 pesos per voter for all other candidates with a political party, and 5 pesos for every voter for those running as independents. For physical sorties, parties must secure permits from the local governments where the event will be held, and strict COVID-19 health protocols must be enforced at all times. The COMELEC condemns the killing of an acting poll officer in the town of Lope de Vega in northern Samar. Based on initial investigations, James Diaz Maghanoy was gunned down by 2 unidentified men in Catarman while on his way home from work on Thursday afternoon. The 42-year-old victim sustained 2 gunshot wounds, including one in the head, before he died in the hospital. The motive behind the killing remains unclear. The COMELEC is now calling on authorities to leave no stone unturned in its probe into the murder and to ensure that those responsible are swiftly brought to justice. Up ahead, an official from the Health Department reminds the public only certain sectors can get COVID-19 booster shots for now. Some sectors call on government, or some groups call on the government to step up against Beijing's aggression in the West Philippine Sea after a Chinese Coast Guard vessel blocked and water cannoned 2 Philippine supply boats in Ayungin Shoal. Details when we return.
Na ang best tasting chicken daw kay TJ din? Walang duda na ang tender, ang juicy, best tasting chicken hotdog talaga. Chicken ang desisyon. Kids can tell, best tasting ang TJ chicken dog.
It's always exciting when mixing in a little flavor in your life. And with San Miguel flavored beer, this is no exception. The first fruit flavored beer that San Miguel has ever brewed comes in 3 fun and sweet flavors. We've got apple, lemon, and lychee.
San Miguel flavored beer lemon has a distinct and pleasant citrusy aroma and a subtle lemony taste, complemented by beer-like attributes. Flavored beer apple is easy to drink, it is light, and it's got that red delicious apple aroma and taste. San Miguel flavored beer lychee is a smooth, light, flavorful beer with the delicate taste and aroma of fresh lychees.
And having a call-itan with your friends can be the pick-me-up that you need during these unreal times. No call-itan is complete without San Miguel flavored beer. With several flavors to choose from, you and your friends can't go wrong.
For my babies, only vet-approved Nutri-Chunks puppies. The only one with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat with essential nutrients to help them grow strong and healthy. Happiness! Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks puppies.
The future looks bright in the north. Come December 2022, the Metro Rail Transit Line 7 is aimed to be completed by SMC Infrastructure.
Also known as MRT Line 7 or MRT7, this line will be 22.8 kilometers long with 14 stations that can accommodate up to 650,000 passengers daily from Quezon City to San Jose del Monte, Bulacan, and vice versa. It is expected to reduce travel time down to approximately 35 minutes one way. With a total of 36 train sets or 108 train cars being procured from South Korea Hyundai Rodam, this rail will connect MRT3 and LRT1. Housing the trains is not a concern, as SMC's depot can hold up to 150 trains for future capacity expansion. As for the performance, factory acceptance testing for the initial 6 train sets, or 18 cars, was also conducted in South Korea. Once completed, MRT7 is seen to offer a faster and safer means of transportation and spur economic growth in the northern part of Metro Manila and the province of Bulacan.
Welcome back to Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. Clinical trials for the mix and match of COVID-19 vaccines are set to begin in the country. Science and Technology Undersecretary Rowena Guevara says the Food and Drug Administration has given the go signal for the study after finishing its regulatory review on Tuesday. She says screening of participants have also begun. Some 3,000 individuals are expected to take part in the trials. Pilot tests will be conducted in Muntinlupa and Davao City, but Guevara says no vaccines will be rolled out just yet. While the rollout of COVID-19 booster shots are underway for health workers, Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion wants economic frontliners to be included in the priority list. But the health department says only businesses in certain sectors have so far been approved for their 3rd doses. AC Nichols has the details.
BPO employee Ann Juanilla works in an office for hours every day. She's fully vaccinated with her 2nd dose received last July. Given the chance to get a booster shot, she says she'll take it.
For safety din po kasi yun eh. Kaya yun, mas maigi na rin po magkaroon ng booster.
The Food and Drug Administration has approved 4 COVID-19 vaccine brands to be used as booster shots for fully vaccinated individuals. But currently, the Emergency Use Authorization, or EUA, only covers priority groups, namely A1 health workers, A2 seniors, and A3 immunocompromised individuals. Administering booster shots for medical frontliners started early this week. Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Joey Concepcion proposes that booster rollout be open to everyone. He says big companies have enough vaccine supplies to offer booster to their employees.
Ang sinabi ko kay Sec Duque, sana buksan na lang natin para sa lahat. And then yung public, isang lugar, pero yung fast lane para sa A1, A2, A3, may fast lane sila. Pagdating nila, diretso sila.
The health department says companies can use their extra vaccines as booster shots, but only to employees who fall under the priority groups covered in the current EUA.
Hindi po kayo pinapayagan para ibigay yan as booster doses to your employees, not unless they are part of the senior citizens or they are part of this list of immunocompromised states na inakalagay po dun sa Emergency Use Authority.
If the extra doses are expiring soon, the DOH advises companies to loan them to the government for the meantime.
Ang national government po ay pumapayag na kunin muna ang mga doses na nasa inyo at papalitan po namin yan ng fresh tax kapag kailangan nyo na po dyan sa inyong kumpanya.
AC Nichols, CNN Philippines.
The Philippines will soon allow the entry of tourists from so-called green countries or areas tagged as low risk for COVID-19. There is no set date yet, though. But Acting Presidential and Interagency Task Force spokesperson Carlo Nograles says the task force is finalizing the guidelines. 46 countries and territories are now on the green list.
Nga po, this is the calibrated reopening of our economy. Malaking bagay po para sa ating economic growth and development and the rebound of our economy ang tourism sector. At dahil green list naman po yan, ibig sabihin nasa green list sila dahil mataas ang vaccination rate po nila doon sa green list country. Tayo rin naman po, mataas na rin po, tumataas ang vaccination rate natin dito sa bansang Pilipinas. Mababa na rin po yung mga na-infect ng COVID. And nakita nyo naman, we're really trying to boost up our economy some more.
Meanwhile, fully vaccinated travelers from low-risk countries no longer need to undergo swab tests or facility-based quarantine upon arrival, effective November 22nd. They only have to show their negative COVID-19 test result before the trip and monitor themselves for symptoms for 14 days. 4 days after lifting the mandatory wearing of face shields, the IATF clarifies employers and business establishments under alert levels 1 to 3 may still impose the policy on their workers and customers. On Monday, the president approved the recommendation to scrap the controversial requirement. Areas on alert level 4 may keep or lift the rule, while face shields are still required in hospitals and those under alert level 5 and granular lockdowns. Metro Manila mayors are leaving it up to the national government on whether to impose restrictions for unvaccinated minors outdoors. That's according to Sun 1 Mayor Francis Zamora. He says the Metro Manila Council signed a resolution deferring the decision to the Interagency Task Force after a meeting with health and cabinet officials. Zamora notes they discussed reports about a two-year-old boy who tested positive for COVID-19 days after visiting a mall.
Cannot be categorically said that this minor really got infected in the mall. No one can really point to the fact that this minor was infected in the mall. So the decision of the Metro Manila mayors is to defer to the wisdom of the IATF because they have the health experts, they have the economists, and it is best that they conduct further studies regarding this case.
President Duterte has called on local governments to pass ordinances limiting the entry of unvaccinated minors in malls just over a week after the government allowed children to go out under alert level 2. Now, the Philippine government urged to step up its stance against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea after a Chinese Coast Guard vessel blocked and water-cannoned 2 Philippine supply boats in Ayungin Shoal. Our Chisan Rodalo reports.
China is now accusing the Philippines of trespassing after 2 supply boats attempted to transport food items to Ayungin Shoal on November 16. In a media briefing Thursday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian said the Philippines did not seek permission to enter Ayungin Shoal. Beijing added its Coast Guard asserted territorial sovereignty. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin Jr. says it's a free world and anyone can say whatever they want, but added it is what we do that matters. CNN Philippines tried to track down the crew members of the supply boats. Sources tell us that they are now in Palawan and in good health. The supply boats, however, are not in good condition with considerable damage to their outrigger. From a speed of 14 kilometers per hour, now it's down to 3.7 kilometers per hour because of the damage. Repairs must be made first before the team can resume its mission. The same team will return to Ayungin Shoal. In the meantime, a maritime law expert says China's intention is clear on Ayungin Shoal.
They've always wanted the Philippines to leave Ayungin Shoal, no? And tow away the Sierra Madre. Tagal na pinag-iinitan yan. In 2013 to 2014, after the standoff sa Scarborough Shoal, Ayungin Shoal became the focus of their attention. Talagang pinag-initan nila. If they cannot interfere directly with, say, the Navy or Air Force, what they're trying to do now is to starve the outpost essentially so that they will be the ones to voluntarily leave, no? And pag umalis na tayo, then that's the time that for sure papasukin nila yung shoal and they will take over.
Other experts point out the gap between China's diplomacy and what is happening on the ground. Former Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario says the country should take the 2016 Arbitral Tribunal ruling to the next level, which means exploring options to enforce it. A joint patrol with other allied countries must be considered. The Ayungin Shoal incident happened shortly after the Philippines and United States wrap up a bilateral strategic dialogue which included addressing concerns on peace and stability and commitment to further improve the Mutual Defense Treaty. Due to the new and emerging threats in the South China Sea, the United States and the Philippines will be holding a maritime dialogue in 2022 to further strengthen the Mutual Defense Treaty between the two countries. Tristan Udalo, CNN Philippines.
Facing 6 sex trafficking charges in the United States, Davao-based religious leader and spiritual advisor to President Duterte, Apollo Kibuloy, has been accused of threatening underage girls and other young women of eternal punishment should they refuse to engage in sexual acts with him. A sex trafficking scheme in his religious group reportedly took place from 2002 until at least 2018. The legal counsel of the group he founded released a statement denying the claims. They called the charges, quote, another vicious attempt to bring down Pastor Apollo Kibuloy. Presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles said the country will cooperate if they receive requests for Kibuloy's extradition. Cebu City Mayor Edgardo Labella died earlier today. He was 70 years old. His son confirmed the cause of death was septic shock or dangerous drop in blood pressure because of an infection. Labella was hospitalized for 23 days, suffering from pneumonia. The family said they are making plans for a public viewing under COVID-19 protocols. Labella previously served as Cebu City's vice mayor for 2 terms. Still on Newsnight, superstar singer Adele releases her first album in nearly 6 years, and singer Harry Styles is joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We get a sneak peek of his role as the brother of Thanos. We'll be right back.
Love is all about time. Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready-to-eat. Slow-cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
Kabilang ba kayo sa mga Pilipino na nahihirapan sa mga transaksyon dahil wala o kulang ang mga valid IDs?
Huwag nang mag-alala dahil narito na po ang PhilSys, ang identification system ng bawat Pilipino.
Para sa Step 1 registration, pumunta lang sa register.philsys.gov.ph para makapag-register sa PhilSys online. Ito ang PhilSys, ID natin to.
Discovery Plus is here. Welcome to your new home of larger-than-life entertainment and unforgettable characters. Subscribe now at 129 pesos per month.
Namamas ka po! This Christmas, we may not be celebrating the way we used to because of the ongoing pandemic, but there is still a lot to be grateful for, and definitely a lot of ways we can share the Christmas spirit with others.
Ngayong Pasko, bukod sa paghahanda natin ng salo-salo sa sarili nating tahanan, samahan niyo po kami ni Isa na mag-sponsor ng iba pang pamilya para sa kanilang Pure Foods Noche Buena. Mula sa halagang 800 pesos, maaari na tayong magbahagi ng Pure Foods Fiesta Ham, Tender Juicy Hotdog, TJ Spaghetti Sauce.
Your new favorite viands are also now made ready to eat by Pure Foods. Crispy fried chicken, caldereta, kare-kare, and many more. Your Noche Buena can be ready in as little as 15 minutes.
Wow!
Ang bilis!
Isang kompleto at masayang pagdiriwang ng Noche Buena ang naghihintay para sa inyo at para sa pamilyang reregaluhan ninyo ng Pure Foods Noche Buena Pack.
Ito ay mahahanap sa San Miguel Foods website. Magtungo sa thehub.sanmiguel.com.ph. Let us continue the spirit of Christmas giving so more of us can celebrate the season.
Sama-sama po tayong magdiwang ng Pasko! Buong Pasko sa Paskong Pure Foods!
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. Harry Styles' entry into the Marvel Cinematic Universe is official. Take a look at his new character poster. The award-winning singer plays Eros, the brother of supervillain Thanos. Audiences were initially surprised at Styles' appearance in the star-studded movie Eternals, with his cameo revealed at the very last minute. But a month after the film's premiere, Marvel finally shows off his part as the Royal Prince of Titan. New releases from music legends Adele and Sting and a documentary about a beach boy are in today's Hollywood Minute. CNN's Rick Damigella has the stories.
Adele's new album is out now. 30 is the fourth studio recording from the British singer-songwriter. The music video for the single Easy on Me has surpassed 163 million views since it premiered on YouTube in October.
Jumped out of bed this morning with a smile upon my face.
Also just released is Sting's new album, The Bridge, featuring this tune, If It's Love, which marks the first time Sting has whistled in a song.
I define a hit song when people are whistling it, like window cleaners or people painting houses or cab drivers. When they're whistling your song, that's a hit. That's a real hit. So I thought I'd bypass the whole thing and start whistling myself. And I haven't done it on record before, so it's quite a revelation to me as well.
The idea of doing an interview makes Brian nervous.
Rolling Stone editor Jason Fine came up with a clever way to make Brian Wilson feel more comfortable during interviews for the documentary Brian Wilson Long Promised Road. Driving, talking, and listening to music.
For me, I mean, driving around LA with Brian is just a great, good time. We just have a good time listening to music and telling stories, talking about our families a lot.
Right.
That must have been a really exciting time.
It was.
The film is out now in theaters and on VOD. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
30 has since gotten rave reviews from critics, and hashtag Adele topped Philippine Twitter trends less than an hour after the album's release. We have 36 more days before Christmas, and that is it for tonight. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Hontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.